The Hammond Time Catch-Up.
All right, so every day this week, we're going inside Comic-Con Africa, putting the spotlight on some of the greatest creators, the people that are making it happen in 2018 for the first time that it comes to the continent.
What we've been focusing on with regards to Comic-Con now coming to Africa for the first time, what kind of an impact you think that that's going to have on people that want access to be able to be creative people within the continent and South Africa specifically?
Well, first of all, I mean, I come from the film background, so feature films, sci-fi, thrillers, horrors, that's kind of our forte and our genre. I think from that aspect, I could probably answer that question. How's Comic-Con going to impact South Africa? I think it's going to be massive for South Africa. This is the tip of the iceberg for us. I think it's going to bring in investors and interest. We're going to have sponsors. We're going to have all kinds of things happening. We've got great talented artists who've obviously come from everywhere, both local and international. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more immersive filmmakers. We're going to be seeing a lot more people trying to get into that international market. Looking at ticket sales already, it's already proving to be one of the bigger events for South Africa.
Many people say, in your instance, for example, you had to break down doors in order to be able to do things on a global stage. And having had the experience of both knowing what it's like here in South Africa and on the global stage as well for you working in America and other parts of the world, what in your mind are still some of the biggest barriers and vicissitudes that South African creatives face in this industry?
The struggle is always going to be finance. Believing and having people believe in your projects is always going to be a big part of it. Now with our slate of films, for example, we've got a whole slate of movies that we produce in South Africa. And what we do is we export that, ACT Films exports that to the US, we sell it to Europe. And what it allows us to do is to create opportunities to employ new people, artists and actors, and also allows us to help build this industry. So the biggest thing we're lacking really is finance in South Africa. And it comes down to the fact that there isn't really those kind of avenues for artists and things like that to be noticed on. Certainly companies like ourselves, or probably a handful of companies that actually take on people who are maybe interns or people who have talented material who would like to come to us, and we can see how we can structure financing those type of projects for them.
Can you tell me more about that? Maybe there are a lot of people who are listening who will have a direct interest in knowing how they could become involved with.
Sure, absolutely. So there's two sides of this. ACT Animation Films, if they go onto actanimationfilms.com and they go onto our website, there's both the investment aspect, so investors can put money into films. We show them how we grow their returns, but more so, you get returns within 18 to 24 month periods, and we're talking 200 to 400% returns on your investment. That's from the feature film production side. From a hiring perspective, in terms of if you're a talented artist out there, or an animator or visual effects artist, we have our studios, which facilitates for that. You get to work on a 3D animated pipeline. We're currently working on a 3D animated film called The Body Defenders. It's the first 3D animated sci-fi that's ever come out of South Africa. And it's been a long road for us because, here we are trying to do a movie that's like a Star Wars budget kind of story. And we've had to find ways to raise the capital. And so that's one of our 3D animated projects. And our live action projects, we've got Hell Trip, which is making its rounds in Europe, Asia, and we're also selling it to the North American territory, which is a massive market, as you know. And the objectives here are to continue to produce a pipeline of films and projects so that the people out there can work on these kind of movies and create a platform to allow for that kind of facilitation.
Can you tell me more about when you are pitching ideas, say, to international markets to try and get their investment and their buy-in, or even just the distribution of it, how that process works?
When we initially started, we obviously didn't have any films. Now we do. We're actually on our third feature already, live action, and our first animated feature. So we're now able to show investors where the film's going to go, what kind of distribution that we're looking at in which countries. And the interest, we've obviously looked at our genre and we picked our battle and we said, do we want to go make a drama movie? Maybe not, because that's not the market. You need an A-list attachment. And as long as the script is good, the quality is good, and I'd love to share our trailer with you shortly after the show. But I think you'll understand the kind of quality that we produce, it looks international, and that's kind of where you have to set the bar when it comes to film production.
The horror genre is super interesting to me for South Africans at the moment, because we had Jerome Pekwane on the show recently, horror writer, and it seemed, for some reason, it seems like this is going to be the next frontier of South African creation. A lot of people seem into this.
I think it's because it has the highest return on investment. That's the first thing you've got to realize, that horror and thriller has the highest return on investment of any genre. So that's the first step. The second step is that obviously you don't need A-list attachments, so you can sell your film comfortably without a distributor saying, well, you don't have X, Y, and Z attached to your film, so we're not even going to be interested in it. And that's something that you will face if you try different genres. You know, it is a big thing. The other thing you got to realize is it is a business first and foremost. So if you're going to make a film, you got to make sure that it's accessible in the sense of distributors, that they're willing to pick it up, and that you can make a return on investment, and that people they want to buy it, and you can keep making movies. Or are you going to make a film that's artistic and arty? It's going to go to all the nouveaux, but now you're winning awards and you're not making any money. And that I see happen time and time again. So knowing how to pick your battles is a really big process when it comes to when you first engage with your scripts, you know.
And it's so interesting because, I mean, so much of what the authority you speak to is having an understanding of more than just, say, like animation for animation's sake. It's how the business side of it works. In South Africa, if when young people are studying animation, do they get equipped with the kind of insight and knowledge into this kind of stuff?
No, not at all. I think animation and being an artist can be done anywhere in the world. So you can be freelancing stuff for Marvel, you know, if you're a comic book artist. You don't have to live in the States, you can be in South Africa. So if you're really good, you're really talented, you will be successful no matter what you do. But I don't think that people equip them with the knowledge of the business aspect of becoming an animator, where you have to understand that even if you do become a qualified animator and you've spent a fortune on your education, and animation is very, very expensive. It's probably one of the most expensive courses you can do. That there really isn't going to be much of a market out there unless we create one. And that is what Act Animation Films is about. It's about creating content for that market, you know. And we'll be showcasing it, obviously, at Comic-Con. We'll be there on Friday. We have a Friday slot there from 12 to 1 o'clock. And then we have the release of our panel for the horror film that we're doing, Hell Trip, which is from 5 to 6. And then from 6 to 7:30, we've got the screener, the exclusive screener of the film, which will be showcased at Comic-Con.
And we'll be doing our bit to let people know about that, and hopefully, you know, continue to grow this industry, because
that'd be wonderful. That'll be wonderful. You know, that's all about a collaboration. If everyone helps everyone to promote these things,
exactly.
then we can build an industry.
Exactly.
You know.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really
Wonderful.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you.
Right.
All right.
The Hammond Time Catch-Up.